All right, I'm going to the Caribbean again. Super humid. That just means my hair is gonna go from this.
All that.
To this. Hey Geography peeps, do you like continuity errors where things are filmed out of sequence? Well, today's your lucky day. I got a haircut. Oh, and get your Geography Now merch like this Geography Now mug. Oh, or this Geography Now drawstring bag. We have these too at geographynow.com. Not selling out if it's your brand. Woo! And the mugs work too. So as you guys know, we are nearing the end of Geography Now's series of covering profiles on all the 193 sovereign nations of the UN. Getting close, it's end game. And one thing you guys may have noticed is that I'm kind of traveling more these days. I mean, one reason why I started Geography Now is because I love to travel. I mean, it's one thing to talk about geography in a homemade studio all day, but it's a whole other thing to go out and do geography. And that's kind of what I prefer to do. You know, I'm just gonna be real with you guys. Once every so often, I get sponsored to travel. Now, here's the deal. I know my subscribers. They hate it when I do any kind of like luxury-based travel. You guys want to watch me suffer. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't mind. I kind of like doing the low budget, you know, backpacker type of thing. It's more fun because things are more crazy and you have a better story in the end. I mean, I know my subscribers hate it when I do stuff like this. Yes. Or this. Or this. Or this. But here's the deal, if someone gives me an offer to travel, and especially to a place I've never been to before, and asks me to make content off of it, I'm probably not gonna say no. Look, I swear I'm not like other girls. So that's pretty much what happened with me. So one day I get messaged from a subscriber. His name is Marek, he's a Polish dude. I didn't know anything about him, and then later on I find out he's kind of like a big hotshot entrepreneur guy who's done like TED Talks and stuff. And he's like engaged to like former Miss Dominican Republic. He hits me up and he's like, hey, Barbs, I like your content. How would you like to go to the Dominican Republic and check out a very special place known as the Samaná Peninsula? There's a lot of cool secret things about this one little place, but you have to come and see it. When I first read his email, I was like, yeah, no, this is a scam. But just out of curiosity, I responded, and it turns out it was legit. Marek's company, known as the Samana Group, is working on a lot of cool projects in this one area. And at the time, I was just finishing up the UAE episode and working on the UK episode, but I had to go. So I did it, I packed up, and I went. It happened. Now, I didn't really know anything about Samana before I went there, but it turns out there are some really cool secret hidden gems in this place. But first, let's go to the map.
First of all, the Samana Peninsula is located on the northeast side of the Dominican Republic and is disputably the most lush and undisturbed province in the entire country. This is due to the fact that it was isolated for the longest time, as no direct roads were built until the 1970s, and many of them weren't even paved until the 2010s. In fact, it was so isolated that in old maps, the early European explorers assumed it was an entirely separate island and drew it detached from the rest of Hispaniola. Some say it was because they didn't properly survey the areas, some say because the Rio San Juan kind of technically separates the peninsula, but whatever the case is, most people live on the coasts, as the Sierra de Samaná mountain range goes along the spine of the peninsula, laden with one of the highest concentrations of coconut palm trees in the Caribbean. In fact, the Samaná Bay is a super popular breeding ground for whales that you can witness for the first 3 months of the year.
So with all of that said and done, it was time to head out there.
So for this trip, they said I could bring one extra person to help me with production, and I chose my buddy Gabs. You may have remembered him from some previous episodes. He hasn't really had much of a proper introduction on the show, but for those of you who don't know, Gabs is actually an artist, and a super talented one at that, and I figured he would be perfect for this trip. And now it's time for the obligatory travel montage with public domain music so that I don't get copyright strikes.
Estoy aquí con mi nuevo amigo Pablo Alejandro. ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien, hola, hola.
Escuché que la mayoría de gente es aquí en República Dominicana a hablar más rápido que los otros países en Latinoamérica. ¿Es verdad?
Sí, es verdad. Aquí, por ejemplo, nosotros cortamos mucho las palabras. Por ejemplo, si te voy a decir voy para la casa, te digo voy para la casa.
Para la casa. Para la casa.
Para la casa, pa la casa.
Para la casa.
Sí, eso lo usamos mucho aquí. Es como si fuera un dialecto.
Finally, after all that traveling, we had to meet up with Marek and Yaritza. These two are pretty much the reason why we're here. They treated us to an amazing Dominican dinner. And yeah, here's Marek explaining the whole deal.
When I came to Samaná around 7 years ago, this was the first place that I visited, and I was totally blown away. But the richness of Samaná's nature, history, their people, and their stories, and I just couldn't think of a better person to talk more about this and educate the rest of the world in an entertaining way than Barbs from Geography Now. I've been his fan for God knows how many years. I've always been watching his videos every time I was visiting new countries. So we decided to invite him here and talk to him about our project. Samana Group is a sustainable community, not only from the ecological perspective, but also financially. And we believe that this is the time for a project like this to be financially stable, so we can survive and live here in harmony with each other, but also with nature.
So let me just kind of break it down for you. This is where I'm at, thatch roofed building with rooms like this. This is what rich people pay for to get off grid.
Fortunately for me, in order to make this video, I would have to be on grid. So they decided to give me the loft suite at Taino Beach, complete with Wi-Fi, vibrant colors and paintings on the wall, complete with shower and bathroom, refrigerator, amenities, everything you could possibly ask for. Just a 1-minute walk from the beach and a beautiful view of the jungle outside your window.
Ooh, Nele. Not bad.
But what is it about this place, and why should you care? By any means, it seems like it fits the format of any other conventional Caribbean getaway that you've seen over and over again in the pamphlets and commercials. Well, for one, there's a strange, unique backstory to this place that kind of involves, well, let's just say almost world domination.
This small stretch of land was at the crossroads of so many controversial moments in history. The Spanish, the French, the British, everything happened here. According to Columbus, the native Cacao tribe had inhabited this peninsula. Fast forward, the Spanish and French colonize it. They draw their lines, they set up their colonies. Fast forward a little more, Napoleon comes in. He draws up plans to move his entire capital to a new spot, Port Napoleon, in what is now the town of Santa Barbara de Samaná, which is also known as Samaná, the largest city of this peninsula. To his unfortunate demise, the British actually did kind of stop him. But hypothetically speaking, if the British hadn't come in and stopped him, and if Napoleon was successful, and if Port Napoleon was actually built, and if he actually did move the capital of his empire to Port Napoleon, and if the French had gone full blast buck wild and conquered everything that they set out to conquer throughout the world, then technically, in a long stretch of possibilities, it could have been possible that this small peninsula could have been the capital of an empire that ruled much of the world. Hence, where the clickbaity title of this video comes in. Fast forward, Haiti gains independence, they become the first black republic. After that, the president initiates the Haitian immigration policy, which allows about 6,000 freed US slaves to emigrate here over the course of 2 years. They become a whole new subgroup of people called the Cocolos. They have their own English Creole that is still spoken today. Fast forward, the DR gets independence from Haiti. They become a Hispanic nation all over again. They had like a little bit of a dictator year thing going on. Whatever the point is, this country grew up and developed into what it is today, and it is now a powerhouse of not only the Caribbean, but also the Latin American world. So there you go. If in an alternate timeline, circumstances were completely and absolutely accommodating to historical events, Samaná basically almost kind of technically may have been the capital of the world, or at least the capital of a large empire managing much of the world. It all depends on how far the French were willing to go. In any case, what else is there in Samaná? Well, for one, it is one of the lushest, most untouched nature zones of the entire country. The DR is kind of like the breadbasket of the Caribbean. So when you drive up from Santo Domingo, you'll notice much of the country is riddled in drier, hilly agriculture zones and farms with ranches. The moment you enter Samaná, though, you'll notice the microclimate that it has, setting it apart from the rest of the country. Like much of the DR, you'll encounter baseball games being played in baseball fields everywhere. The DR is one of the few countries in the Latin American world that actually prefers baseball over soccer. But the one thing I personally found most intriguing was the Cocolo community. I even told Marek and Yaritza, if I come here, the one thing I want to do is meet a Cocolo. They are so unique in that they are descendants of English-speaking freed slaves that migrated in the 19th century under the immigration policy. Many of them still speak their own heavy dialect of English, and I wanted to see if I could talk to a Cocolo. Yaritza knew just the person, Mr. Federico, who had a farm and specialized in chocolate. You are Cocolo, right? Basically?
Yeah, my grandmother come from Philadelphia, you see.
Philadelphia.
Yes, yeah, we're going to change generation in generation. Yeah, of the last one, but
Really?
still we live in.
So your parents spoke English?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Most people here
My
live.
sister grandmother, she didn't understand nothing Spanish. All was English.
Oh.
You see, I remember the first church was St. Peter Church, and there the only speak English. And my mother, she had not how to make chocolate, and she had made chocolate for to drink.
Such honor to meet you. Like, wow, you are a special person, in my opinion. To me, you're a celebrity. Celebrity, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So this is your garden.
Yes. Here we got like 23 years since I live here.
23 years.
Yeah, but my age is 75 years. In the chocolate, when we pick them, we hack them. We roast them, we patch them. And then this year, there we make the chocolate board.
So there's a process.
Yes. After we make the chocolate board, then we make the chocolate with the drink, you see.
Okay, show us, Victoria. Oh, you just crack it.
Exactly. And then it opens.
Oh, shit. Oh, that's so good. Yes. Now, I like chocolate as much as the next guy, but I actually prefer the chocolate fruit. The white stuff, the membrane, it goes rotten very fast. So once you cut these things open, you gotta eat them. But it tastes like sour candy. I love this stuff. And you just spit it out. Like that. And on that note, I am not ending this video without showing you some of the food of the Dominican Republic. Every day, I would go to Don Piron de Maritza restaurant and get my favorite Caribbean dish of all time. Now, the Puerto Ricans will argue with the Dominicans over who invented it, but the point is, it is amazing no matter where you get it from. I'm talking about mofongo. Mofongo is essentially crushed deep-fried seasoned plantains that is shaped into a little bowl that you can eat, typically filled with meat stew that absorbs into the crushed plantains, and the moment you bite into it, the complete conglomeration of flavors, oils, proteins, and carbs makes everything taste like a wild late-night bachata party in your mouth. So much going on, and you cannot stop. In the end, the food, although delicious, is just one piece of the puzzle. The biggest thing that makes up this place, of course, is the people. So in typical Geography Now fashion, I decided to encounter as many Dominicans as possible and ask them one question. Estoy haciendo un video sobre la República Dominicana, entrevistando los lugareños que viven aquí, preguntando solo una pregunta a los lugareños. ¿Qué es una dominicana?
¿Una dominicana?
Sí. Cuando dices soy una dominicana, ¿qué sientes?
Mucho orgullo. Por ser dominicana, una dominicana valiente.
Bueno, cuando digo que soy dominicano, siento que la piel se me eriza. When you say you are Dominican, it's like you are swimming in the best beach.
Okay.
Yes. Dominican is like alive.
Wow, feels nice because we like the music, we love the nature, we like to be on the beach. Sentirse dominicano es sentirse bien. Sentirse bacano. Bacano.
Okay. Siempre en bacano. Okay.
A Dominican is a person who is joyful, who is always looking the bright side of things, a person that's always willing to help you, to be feisty, to be loud, to be happy for life.
Yo me siento orgulloso de ser dominicano, nacer aquí en este país en general, es muy amable con extranjeros. Sí, le dan mucha solidaridad, sí, y lo tratamos siempre afable.
Also, Dominicans have this thing that is called Guacanagaritz complex. And Guacanagaritz, it's an Indian Taino native from the island. And what it means is that we're always willing to welcome anyone that comes from abroad. And it's the way that they were treating the people that were coming to basically invade the island. And that still stayed in our DNA. So we want to make sure that everyone has a great time and that they enjoy the Dominican Republic. So welcome to our Guacanagaritz complex.